Bossard, and Quick Susie has taken the measure of Twilight Gleaming, and Quick Susie and Gary Carroll have won the Queen Mary. Plenty for Ryan Moore. Armory is in third, and Love is coming up to the line. She sends Ascot head over heels.
Right, we are back. Day 2, Ascot tips, or well, I say tips, these are just going to be our choices. I'm going to get straight into it. The 4 I think we're covering today. Queen Mary Stakes for the 2-year-old fillies, I believe is the first race to kick off the day. And then we've got the Duke of Cambridge Stakes, Prince of Wales Stakes, and the Royal Hunt Cup. Right, Queen Mary Stakes. Not a lot to go on at the moment, as you can imagine. Declarations still to be made. People still deciding what's going on, where they're putting their horses, as is always. The one that stood out for me was Carl Burke's trained horse, should I say, dramatised. Daddy Tudhope, I believe, is the jockey. 4-1 at the moment. Again, these are all very unexposed horses, not a lot to go on. The one that stood out for me, obviously, was dramatised. Winner at Newmarket, beginning of April, I believe, or middle of April, so not too long ago. Reasonably comfortable, but did show a lot of greenness when leaving the stalls. Could obviously be a concern, like is with any 5 furlong sprint. If you struggle at the start and everything else just seems to go, you're playing catch up in a very short space of time. She seemed to cope with getting used to the race very quickly. And as I said, goes on to win by 4 lengths. Depending on if that's the route they tend to go down, then 4-1, decent early doors price. But again, you're waiting for the declarations on these. You don't really know what's what. Moving on. Duke of Cambridge Stakes. I think I'm going to go with on this one, the next one. Don't know what the lads are going to go with second on that one, but we'll go there. I'm sticking with one that I fancied last year and went on to win comfortably in the Coronation Stakes, alcohol free. Admittedly, at the moment this season, not so impressive with certain runs. You can discredit a couple because once again it's another horse that has tried to go against Baid. We went over that in the first video. We know what sort of monster that is. I'm pretty sure by now the lads have all agreed that certified winner there on day 1 for you. I do believe alcohol free can bounce back, does run well at Ascot himself. The ground may be a concern, if truth be told. But again, with the weather at the moment, just looking outside, it's beautiful skies at the moment, yet 3 hours ago was hammering it down. So we beg to see what goes on next week, but it's the sort of horse that when he gets down and it gets into the race, really gets his head down, really seems to finish off the race strong. As long as everything goes in his favour, doesn't get caught in too many pockets, then I think Rob Hornby, I think will probably retain the jockeyship on that horse. So yeah, for me, alcohol free, 9-2 at the moment, seems a decent price. Again, we're waiting for declarations on those to see what is what. I picked an outsider in this race. I say an outsider. Potapova for Haggas. Run Epsom weekend just gone. Finished second behind his stablemate in that race in the Princess Elizabeth Stakes. Now, very eye-catching because couldn't get the hood off quick enough. Leaving the stalls. Seemed to struggle leaving the stalls. Had to sit behind a wall of horses. Hugged the rail, and when the space was there, seemed to make some real progress. Real fast progress on the rest of the field, and just got beat. Well, I say just got beat. The winner went away, obviously stablemate in that race. But at 12-1, depending on obviously jockey booking, it was more at the weekend. He's going to be very sought after at Ascot, so we'll play that one as it is. But at 12-1, if he seems to get a clear run and there's no issues at the start, I don't see why won't be bang on at the finish. So it's alcohol free for me, with a cheeky little each way on Potapova for Haggas. Prince of Wales Stakes, 1 mile 2 furlong. Again, going to stick with an old hat on this one. Misriff for Gosden. Now, I know Mark's a big fan of this horse, and it's a bit of a traveller horse, so to speak. Loves to take it all over the world, does Gosden on this one. 6-1 currently. It's a very competitive Group 1 for what it is. You've got Bay Bridge in there for Micheal Stoute. Now, he was unbeaten in 4, but this is a step up in grade. Will the horse handle it? If you're going on past performances, yes. But to be such a short price favourite at the moment, again, this all probably down to declarations. But for me, I'm going to swerve the favourite on this one, as much as it's a good horse. Mishriff, I just do feel that if you ignore his run earlier in the year, I believe it was in South Africa, tailed off dead last, but again, back on British soil, I think Gosden will have him ready for this one. Again, you've got Adia in there, but I think he's skipping these and going to the Saturday race, and I'm not too sure. Mark, I know, will probably allude to that fact at some point in his videos, because he picked up on that earlier today. So that will limit the field quality straight away. Mishriff, very solid horse, very good horse, knows how to win. It's just got to get back to some form over on British soil for me. So Mishriff at 6-1, he's got to be worth a shot over the 1 mile 2 furlong trip. Now, last one, Royal Hunt Cup, 1 mile. I mean, this one at the moment, if you look at the prices that are there, this is one of the most, I mean, there's still about 50 horses declared into this at the moment, or entered, shall I say, not declared. But the one that stood out to me was currently 8-1. I believe that's 8-1 favourite, but I mean, it's not a bad price for any favourite by any means. Comfortable winner a few weeks ago back at Nottingham. Again, found himself in a bit of a pocket by the rail. Didn't look like there was much space to get out. Found a way, and when found a way to get out, won going away. Again, this is another one of those horses that stood out to me with 5 runs at Ascot, 3 wins. Again, that sort of form is relevant in some parts, but again, this is a different race. This is a different kettle of fish he's going up against, so we have to take it on face value that he's pretty comfortable round the course. The only concern is, again, seems to not jump out so well. Doesn't seem to give, or it seems to give, whoever the jockey is at the time, and this is a horse that if you look over its form has had more ride for him. Egan, Todd Hope, I think Buick was on him back in Nottingham, so they've all had a stab at the horse, and it just doesn't seem to inject a bit of urgency out of the gates immediately. But over a mile, plenty of time to find his feet, and when he does, it genuinely does seem to put in a solid run every time. So at 8-1, even early doors, once these fields are depleted a little bit, I can only see that price shortening. So yeah, for me, Charlie Hill's dark shift on that one. In the same race, and I think, well, I know one member is going to be very keen, because I'm hoping one member of the team will be there. Mr. Jamie Brownlow's Revich, his pride and joy. Now, after that marvellous run at Epsom, 33-1 at the moment, I'm pretty sure he's probably had 1 or 2 little each way bets on it, and why wouldn't he? Stayed on fantastically well, seeming to hit a flat spot at one point, and then in the last furlong and a half, a couple of slaps down the shoulder, and he made some ground up. I mean, it was a lot closer than I think people gave. I think the favourite, or the winner, sorry, of that race also runs here. I cannot remember, the name eludes me, but the winner had won the race, and he's down slightly, but Revich was making ground very fast. And I know, Jamie, I hope you're going to be there. I hope you're going to have a great day. And I hope at 33-1, he runs a bloody big race, to be honest with you, mate. So yeah, little each way tip for Revich on that one, I think, is fair for all the team. So that's day 2. I'll leave it over to the rest of the lads now. So have a great evening. Bye now.
So as Sean says, it's day 2 of the Royal Ascot meeting on a Wednesday, and the 2:30 Queen Mary Stakes fillies for Group 2, and it's a 5 furlong race. I had a look in the betting field, and I had a quick look, and there was a couple of horses I thought I might mention, and there's one called Pillow Talk, which is trained by Carl Burke. Pillow Talk won at York very well, but I thought he did it the hard way by winning that race at York. And even though it won well, winning by I think by half a length or a neck, I'm not really sure. He did it really well, but I think he made it look hard. To my eye, he made it look hard winning for that race. So that horse is not for me. And then the other horse that I looked at was Matilda Pitticott, that ran at Naas quite a few weeks ago or a few months ago, and she finished 4th place. But she's got a very good early speed. She's entered for this race as well, the Queen Mary Stakes. She's got very early speed, but the speed flattened out in the last third of the race. And I don't think she did really lasted that well. I think the track didn't really suit her with the stiff climb, but she finished 4th place. But my selection for the Queen Mary is Katie Content, and on the betting field, Sky Bet are showing 10-1 each way, and I thought that's a nice each way price for the Queen Mary, trained by Clive Cox. This filly is out of the great sire at the moment for this season, Havana Grey, which is doing very well with his 2-year-olds. They're winning left, right, and centre, even with fillies or colts, even getting place money as well. And this filly, she did it very well, even though it was a small field. I think it was four runners at Windsor. She did it very comfortably in that race, even though she was a little bit green as well, going to the left hand side and going in the middle from the near side roll into the middle. She did it very well, beating Radio Goo Goo by 4.5 lengths. So this selection is for me. For my selection is Katie Content, trained by Clive Cox. Next race is the 340 Duke of Cambridge Stakes, Group 2, 1 mile. And my selection for this race is Bashkirova, trained by William Haggas, and hopefully he'll be ridden by Tom Marquand. He's got a BHA rating of 104, which he won at Epsom. And looking at Sky Bet, he's at 6-1. So I'll be looking for that for an each way play. I was there at Epsom watching the race, and he did it very well on the Epsom track, because it's undulating and it's very testing, as in the camber, trying to keep your horse in balance. And Tom Marquand rode really well, tracking the horses from the inside, and also he was tracking a horse called Roman Mist. And then after they all fan out down at the home straight, Tom Marquand pushed out really well to win the race. I think she'll improve from that run, and also I think she'll do well in a conventional racetrack. I think she'll do very well at Ascot, because it's a nice flat track, even though it's got a bit of a little hill climb at the end of the near the finishing line. But I think she will do very well, and it would be a really nice to see the silks of Chevely Park Stud silks winning this particular race. So that race is for me for Bashkirova, which is trained by William Haggas. In the 420 Prince of Wales Stakes, Group 1, 1 mile, 1 furlong and 212 important yards, or we can call it 1 mile, 2 furlongs. And my selection, it's got a BHA rating at the time was 112, and my selection is Bay Bridge, which is trained by Sir Micheal Stoute. Now, watching his run at Newmarket on the 30th October, he was running on good ground, and on that day he ran in the James Seymour Stakes in the listed race, and Brian Moore took his time tracking the leader of Majestic Dawn, and I thought he did that very well when he didn't really go for him. He didn't really didn't want to compete Majestic Dawn at the time. To really, he wanted to hold his speed and etc. And I thought he'd done it very well. He battled all the way to the line from the 1 furlong pole, or 1.5 furlongs, to coming towards the finishing line, and I thought he did it very well, beating Majestic Times, and he just did that very well indeed, especially on good ground. But we just don't know at Ascot if it was going to be good to firm or good ground. But if he does, he will still cope with the ground. And he and at Sandown last time out, which was on good to soft in places, and where he showed his colours. He was really impressive on that day in the Brigadier Gerard Stakes at Sandown. Ryan Moore again was on board, and he travelled so well throughout the race, and he tracked the second Mosterdaf, and he just absolutely just breezed through by him and winning by 5 lengths, and he was really very impressive. Looking at the betting, he will be going off favourite. He's at the moment with Sky Bet where he's 6-4. I think he will definitely be hard to beat, and especially with Baybridge, and also with the trainer doing very well, Sir Micheal Stoute. So that's my selection for the Prince of Wales Stakes, Baybridge. The next race is the 5 o'clock, the Jamie's Brucey bonus. It's nice to see you nice. It's the Royal Hunt Cup handicap race, Class 2, 1 mile. Now, are the horses are going to go higher, or are they going to go lower on these stalls? We just don't know. And also, we just don't know what's going to be happening, who's going to be happening, what horses are going to be running in this particular race, because it's like a cavalry charge. There's going to be 30 runners going straight down the middle, splitting up in 2 or 3 groups in a 1 mile race, and it's absolutely fantastic. My first selection for the Royal Hunt Cup, Sky Bet on an each way. Now on the Royal Hunt Cup, please have a look. If you're doing having a bet, you don't have to go with us. If you're doing a bet, please have a look at the bookies, because the online bookmakers will be doing either 5 places, 6 places, 7 places, or even 8 places on an each way terms. Enhanced betting, I think they'll be doing a fifth of the odds. But please shop around, have a look. Like I say, bookies will be doing 5 places, 6 places, 7 places, or even 8 places, and that would be great for each way players for this particular race. And the first horse that I've selected, which is at Sky Bet is showing at 25-1, is Stunning Beauty, trained by Saeed bin Suur, and he's got a BHA of 94 on his last race. And Stunning Beauty has run at Ascot before 39 days ago, finishing 3rd in a fillies handicap, and I think she'll cope with the big field, because she did really watching that race, she did that very well. She got quite a lot of cover during the race, and I think she'll do very well. This is an absolute pin hook of a race, because you just don't know how they are with their weights, etc. But she looked like she will do very well in this particular race. I think she'll quite cope with the hullabaloo of the big fields, and I think she'll get quite a lot of cover. And I think Saeed bin Suur, don't underestimate this trainer, because even though he's quite behind Charlie Appleby, because he was the #1 trainer at the time, he's still got some good horses, and so keep an eye on Saeed bin Suur. So this horse for the Royal Hunt Cup each way at 25-1 is Stunning Beauty. On the next horse in the Royal Hunt Cup for the Jamie's Brucey bonus is looking at the Sky Bet and you don't have to go with Sky Bet, but I'm looking at in their betting. Is on an each way terms of 12-1, and it's Totally Charming, and he's got a BHA at the time when he won at 91, and he's trained by George Bowie. Very good trainer indeed, classic trainer as well at such a young age. And Totally Charming was a very good winner at Epsom. He was last time out, and he was just chucked in the weights because he just done so well. He travelled very well in the race. He beat the syndicate that I'm with Midland Park Racing, and that was with Rivich. Totally Charming was very impressive winning at Epsom. He travelled very well on that track because of the undulations and also the testing of the camber of the track. He won. Totally Charming beat Rivich by 1.5 lengths behind, and in the past races that I've had a look in his past races, he's been running on all weather, likes of Lingfield, Southall and Kempton, and then all of a sudden he's gone on to a turf track and he's improved, and he's done very well on a turf track. Obviously first time over at Epsom. So for an each way selection, 12-1 at the moment is Totally Charming. On the next horse, looking at Sky Bet with an each way selection at 16-1, he's got a BHA mark when he won. It was 97, and that's Var Fortino, trained by Kevin Defoy. Kevin Defoy is I think he's a Belgian or French trainer, but he's training in the UK now. He's been having quite a few good winners at the moment, and this 4-year-old won very well in a 27 runner race in the Victoria Cup, where he got covered very well in the on the near side. I'm not sure who was the jockey at the time, but he was travelling so well until he where the group opened up, and he like pushed on, running on very well on at the home straight, and he was very game to beat an old warrior called Accidental Agent by half a length. So this will be a very good each way chance, and I'm going to try and pronounce it again. Varfortino, trained by Kevin Defoy, and that's at 16-1. Now the next one, and it's my last one because I've got to do 4, and for me it's Rivich, but don't really want to jinx him. I'm a sort of a half glass man and half full man sort of thing. He's a great horse to be with. He's a tough old handicapper. He's a horse that will just, he doesn't show his marks to the handicapper. He's a very tough handicapper horse. He's just he just does it what he says on the tin. He always gives it 100%. He did it very, very well at Epsom, coming from the outside. I don't think he did hit a flat spot. It's just unfortunate when he pulled out. He just I'm not sure. He didn't really hit a flat spot. I think he just got out a little bit too wide, because he was on the near side, and Totally Charming coming from the inside of the track. He didn't, obviously, Rivich couldn't really reach to him. He was running on very well. He's got a BHA mark at the time when he was running at Epsom at 95. I would say if he has a good draw, like I say with Brucey, if he could go higher or he could go lower, I would like to see him in the middle. In the middle of the stalls, but I would like to see him instead of I would say from behind. I would like to see him up there, up near the front, but covered, so to speak, so he can get a bit of a toe in the race. But he's got a good each way chance in the race. Sky Bet is showing each way 25 to 1, and that is with Rivich, who's trained by Richard Spencer. Hopefully you enjoy your day, all your selections, and thanks for listening.
Right, here we go again then. Selections for day 2 from Glyn from Money Rider. We're starting with the Queen Mary Stakes. My choice in this race is going to be Mediate. You can throw a blanket over the top sort of 3 in a betting. They're all very close, and they've all won one and lost one, or won one and came second, if you will. But I quite like Aidan O'Brien's filly, who's third favourite, 8 to 1. She's won twice for Aidan and her connections. She's won once at 6 furlongs, once at 5 furlongs. The last time out was at the Curragh. She battled very well, was pushed out well by Ryan Moore, stayed on very strongly in the final furlong to win by about 3 1/4 lengths. So that's going to be my choice for the Queen Marys. It's going to be Mediate at 8 to 1. So moving on then to the Duke of Cambridge Stakes. You've got 4 runners in here for Chevely Park, 2 for William Haggas, 2 for Sir Micheal Stoute. The lads have picked one of them. I'm going to pick another one. Hopefully I've got the right one. I'm going to put up Sacred. She's won 3 out of 8 and placed 3 times, coming second. Didn't seem to like 1 mile at Newmarket twice, which is a bit of a worry. But I think at 10 to 1 and away from Newmarket could be worth a gamble at the 1 mile again. Be interesting to see which jockey picks up the ride. Tom Marquand has, matched up and won with her a couple of times. But then also has ridden Jamie's Choice as well. So it'll be interesting to see, who picks up the ride and what way that goes. Okay, so moving on to the Prince of Wales Stakes then. There's a few household names in here. You've got Broome, Alder Australia, Lord North, Midrish that Sean's gone for. But I'm not going to go for any of them. I'm going to have a stab at the Japanese Raider. I believe second favourite in a minute. Sharaya or Shararia or something like that it's pronounced. It's the first time over here on these shores. Has been campaigned around 1 miles, 1 mile 4. Winning 4 of 7 and placing twice. Did recently win a Class 1 Group 1 Shima Classic in Dubai over 1 mile 4. So I'm just sort of hopeful that maybe it's prepped nicely for this run. So in the Prince of Wales Stakes, I'm going to go for the Japanese Raider, Sharaya. Okay, then finally that leads me on to the Jamie's Brucey bonus race, the Royal Hunt Cup. There's a list of 1,001 for this race. Very hard to pick one, in all honesty. One that just sort of jumped out the page a little bit to me was Clive Cox's Aratus. I guess Kirby will pick up the ride again. It's won 3 times with Aratus, so they obviously got a good partnership. Not been great in the last 2, I'll give you that. Up slightly in trip again, but looking at the odds with a big price at like 20 to 1, and I thought it stands a good chance of outrunning those prices. So fingers crossed. In the Royal Hunt Cup, Aratus for me, 20 to 1. Should also give a quick mention that Jamie's Ravish may get a run, may get an entry. So obviously if he does, I hope he gives Jamie a fantastic run for his money, as he normally always does. And obviously if Jamie goes to Royal Ascot, I hope he has a fantastic day without us. So there's my selections for day 2. Short, sharp and to the point, but as I say, not much more I can say about them.
And Quick Susie has taken the measure of Twilight Gleaming, and Quick Susie and Gary Carroll have won the Queen Mary. For Ryan Moore, Armory is in third, and Love is coming up to the line. She sends Ascot head over heels.